His announcement is the worst of all possible worlds. I think the damage that is done to working class children looking for a good university education is done earlier, and the Labour Party has not answered the essential question, which is where is the money going to come from to invest in the schools, to invest in the basic education, to allow everyone the opportunity to get to university.
Angela Rumble, you haven't spoken on this. Do you think that it's a scheme that has actually stolen a march on your scheme of 5-year repayment of loans? I mean, Simon Heffer approves of it.
No, I approve of the notion of loans, and obviously because we introduced it, and we introduced it incidentally in the face of and in the teeth of a huge amount of opposition from the Labour Party at the time. I'm not quite sure whether I go 100% along with what is being proposed by the Labour Party, but I clearly do believe...
You're not allowed to.
What I clearly do believe
well, your own party,
is that there ought to be some system of loan that is repayable over a longer period of years, because I do think that it is very important that people who get university degrees do get a head start, and there's no earthly reason why they shouldn't pay back some of that money.
Well, yeah, I'm a bit old-fashioned. I don't like the idea of starting off your life with a lot of debt. Well, there is it's certainly I've realised with two sons of university age, they are starting off their life with a lot of debt because of the student loan system. And I think the first thought we had in the TUC about the Labour proposal was critical, but having looked at quite a lot of the details about the fact that it's widely open to a range of people who don't get any help at the moment, that there is a flexible payback period, we can see some merits in it, and we're going to look at it carefully.
That sounds a bit ominous.
Yeah, no, there's no threats, no favours.
But you can't give any comfort to him.
No, but that's
to the
because
student.
Well, he wanted lots and lots of extra money in all our schools and everywhere, and of course we all do. But we have to start from where we are now and find the money we've really got, decide where to spend it. I mean, of course we'd all like to have as much money as we could possibly have to spend on everything tomorrow, but real life isn't like that.
Okay, and real life means that we've got to stop, I'm afraid, because we've come to the end of our time, and I'm sorry to those of you who still want to come in on this and speak. It's all we've got time for. Thank you very much indeed to you on the panel, and to all of you in the audience here for coming here. Now, if you'd like to join us in London on the 6th of June, in Birmingham on the 13th of June, which is incidentally the last question time until the autumn, this is the number you should ring, 0181, it's on the screen there, 871-5252. We'll send you application forms. We're going to be back in September after that 13th of June programme, and if you don't get selected this time round, we'll keep the application forms, so it's still worth sending them in for the next run. Now, next week we're going to be in Bristol. Round the table there is going to be the Cabinet's Eminence Grise, the Chief Secretary to the Treasury, William Walgrave, Labour's spokesman on legal affairs, Paul Boateng, the Chairman of the Liberal Democrats Policy Group, Margaret Sharp, and a newcomer, Christine Laird, who's Chief Executive of the Chartered Institute of Housing. And I hope you'll be there and join us too. Until then, from all of us here in Manchester, good night.
This week on 999, a cyclist is pinned to the ground under a 38-ton lorry with only a forklift truck to free her. An experimental airship powered by hot air crashes into a treetop, but the branches are not strong enough to bear its weight. And a scuba diver is sucked underwater into the propellers of a boat. 999, tomorrow at 9:30 on BBC One. Dropped underwater.
Deep breath. That's when panic started setting.
Starved of oxygen.
Hey, feeling number 9?
Thrown into the open sea.
You're stuck in the middle of a bit of water going up and down about 10 foot a minute.
Would you give up your dream?
It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant fun.
Flying Soldiers continues, Tuesday at 9:30 on BBC One.
A beach encounter in 15 minutes on BBC One. Australian film drama starring Judy Davis treading carefully at high tide. And before that, we return to Nick Ross and Jill Dando for an update on tonight's Crimewatch.
Welcome back. There's been a lot of movement this evening. The indecent assault on a 12-year-old girl at a school in Chelmsford. 3 names have been put forward, all local people. And we've been inundated with calls on the armed robbery at the post office in Hastings. A lot of information coming through on some of the faces we've shown, and police, I have to say, are already knocking on doors in connection with a couple of other cases tonight.
We start with the murder of Stephen Cameron. It's been called a road rage murder. Stephen was killed on a roundabout off the M25 in Kent, but interestingly tonight Detective Superintendent John Grace, in charge of the case, says it's not right to call it road rage. The man who did it is extremely dangerous. In a way, you've had the response you didn't want. It's turned out now to be massive.
Yes, we've been absolutely inundated with calls both here and back in Kent.
Now, you've got 25 people working on this inquiry. You've got several hundred. I mean, yes. I suspect it's going to turn out to be close on 1,000 calls by the time the night's over.
Yes, it will be. Yes.
That's going to take you a long time to work through.
Yes, it will take us too long to work through. What we really want is information which hits me right between the eyes, which says, this is the person. This person has confided in me, has told me that it is him. Is very worried about it. That is the sort of information we need now in order to clear this case up quickly.
I mean, I've got one in front of me. There are cases where people have rung up, have given you a name, have given you an address, have given you somebody who's got a car that's right, and so this is a very violent person.
Yes.
But that's at least 90% of the way, is it?
That's right. There are a number that are giving us good information, but what we need is just that little bit more which actually makes us sit up and be excited about this information so that we know this is the right person we're looking for.
OK. It may now be in the system, but if so, we don't know yet. It's Grace, thank you.
Well, straight now to the series of attacks on courting couples in a Hampshire country park. The man responsible is armed and masked, and on at least 2 occasions he abducted his women victims.
Swear you won't hurt her!
Well, Graham Haycock, this happened in Farley Mount in Winchester. 4 attacks over the past 5 years. You believe the man's local, don't you, or has local connections. What sort of response have you had?
Absolutely marvellous. You can see here well over 250 calls. I know that our incident room has received over 60 calls and the switchboard is still jammed.
Any positive leads that you're going to follow up?
Some excellent leads. We've got some good ideas on who the dog walker may be. We've had some people phoning in suggesting names of people who had connections in the Winchester area, who now work some distance away from Winchester, who owned Land Rovers and who had access to cottages, as we mentioned earlier.
Yes, well, let's mention the appeal on those vehicles that were believed to have been used in the cases. In November 1992, it was, as you say, a sort of a pickup vehicle, wasn't it?
Yes, a large pickup type vehicle with a canvas roof and a wooden floor.
And the red car?
And a red car, which could possibly be a Peugeot 309 with central door locking.
So, quite positive, you think?
Very, very positive indeed.
Great, thank you very much indeed.
First of all, on that cheque fraudster case, we've had 4 names, but one is from a police officer who's already told the investigating officer here something that ties in with what he knows, so that looks very promising indeed. And then we went on to the Hayes robbery. We've had 9 callers, all giving the same name for who they think that is. Then on to the Northwood armed robbery. Well, we're fairly certain we know who that is too, because officers have been round to the address that we've been given and been told that the man they were looking for left immediately after seeing the item on Crimewatch. So that looks promising too. And then finally, on the passbook deceivers, we've had 1 name here, 2 in Nottingham, and another call from a security guard who says he's identical to the picture we've shown, but it's not him, so please could we ignore him.
Ah, well, next the extraordinary case in which a man was pushed over in the street outside his home and then run over by a car which didn't stop. Was it murder? And if so, why? Well, Bob Small, what sort of reaction?
We've had a good reaction, not a massive amount of calls, but some quality calls amongst them.
particularly involving, I think, the car that was found burnt out.
Yes, there's been some calls in relation to the car which was burnt out on the B4036, possible sighting of a hitchhiker near to the scene.
Any calls on the potential motive involved?
There's one call in particular which we're obviously going to follow up, talks about a debt of £400 to somebody in Kettering which we weren't aware of.
Now, he had a few phone calls, didn't he, 3 weeks leading up to the death? Could they be linked at all, do you think?
We think there's a good chance that they are. He was certainly concerned about them and clearly didn't know who was making them.
Now, you want to know about the movement of that one particular car, don't you? That Ford Granada automatic in the week or the month or so that it was stolen in Northampton.
It's the week before. It's from the 28th of February to the 7th of March. Clearly that car has been either stored or used, and it's the people that have seen that car that we want to get in touch with us.
And a reminder that there is a reward.
There certainly is.
Thank you.
The first chap I wanted to find was John Edward Rowland. He was the postmaster from Cheshire. I was about to tell you what a poor response we've had, but I understand one call has just come in, which the police are acting on now, so more news next month on that. Secondly, Dennis Reardon from Boston in Lincolnshire. We've had nearly 30 calls, a couple of sightings today in Plymouth, so that may well help, and 3 other crime victims have come forward. Feel he may have some connection with their cases, so something new there. And to prove one call is enough, Peter Thompson was, we had a call on him from a police officer saying he's already in remand in prison in Kent under another name. So all in all, a very successful evening.
Finally, what must be the biggest cash robbery we have ever covered, and one that carries a telephone number reward. The reward alone is £500,000. The robbery happened in Hastings in Sussex. At various times, members of the gang were seen without disguise.
Nobody move! Get back! Get back!
Paul Westwood, you've had, I think, well over 200 calls now.
Well over now.
The most important thing is you've eliminated 2 men who were seen and pictured on security camera in a St Leonard's petrol station.
That's right, yes. The 2 men in the petrol station who have got the petrol cans, they've been eliminated.
You had dozens of people saying who they were, including one of the men himself.
One of the men themselves rang in and told us who his companion was, which was one of his relatives.
But that hasn't taken you very much further with the robbery, has it?
Not with the robbery itself, but we've had a number of other calls which hopefully will help us in that direction.
Have you had anything which is going to make somebody either £500,000 tonight or even £25,000 for identifying one of the
Not
gang?
yet, but we're still waiting.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Let's hope that call still comes in. Jill.
Well, our lines are closing now, but you'll see local numbers in a moment, and you can always find them on CFAX page 614. Alternatively, on these or any crimes, you can always try ringing Crime Stoppers, and they're on answer phones. Their number 0800 555 111. That's 0800 555 111. And we'll be back a month from now at our regular time of 10 o'clock. That's on Thursday, the 20th of June, so do join us then.
Meanwhile, whatever happens, don't have nightmares, do sleep well. Good night.
Good night.
Undercover.
This is the Princess Rosalia.
But you may call me Your Highness.
Under fire.
How about a weapon beyond your wildest dreams?
You couldn't imagine my wildest dreams.
And under threat from an old adversary.
You're going to build him a bomb.
It ain't gonna happen.
Bugs, Saturday at 8:05 on BBC One. John Cleese. Jamie Lee Curtis.
Apologise! I apologise unreservedly.
Michael Palin.
Bing! Wait, Ken!
Kevin Kline. And leading lady.
Hello, Wanda.
Sunday at 9:05 on BBC One.
From the highly successful Australian film industry, now on BBC One, comes a tense drama starring Judy Davis. A free spirit but lost soul, marooned at high tide.